Y'all get ready?
Yes, you get ready.
If you want the latest news in the streets, join us and tune in for the tea. Breaking news with integrity. So tell your friends and your family. It's the Lovelyti TV show, bringing you good tea and good vibes. It's the Lovelyti TV show. Be sure to share, like, and subscribe.
Hey tea sippers, thank you for being here. So in today's video, we're going to talk about the White House Correspondents Dinner and how it ended up turning into a crime scene. And the details that are coming out about who this shooter is are sending the internet into overdrive. Let's go through everything that happened, and then we are going to get into the part that is making people's heads spin, because the man they arrested is not who you would expect.
The gunman, meantime, entered the Washington Hilton tonight armed with a shotgun, a handgun, and multiple knives, sprinting past a security checkpoint outside the ballroom where the president, the vice president, and much of his cabinet were gathered.
One Secret Service member was shot. The bullet, the president says, hit the agent's bulletproof vest.
Here is what happened. On the evening of April 25th, 2026, President Donald Trump attended the White House Correspondents Dinner at the Washington Hilton Hotel in Washington, D.C. This was notable on its own because it was the first WHCA dinner Trump had attended as a sitting president. He skipped it during his entire first term. The ballroom was at record capacity. First Lady Melania Trump was seated next to him. Vice President J.D. Vance was there. Marco Rubio, Pete Hegseth, the entire cabinet was in that room. At approximately 8:36 p.m., a man charged a security checkpoint just outside the main ballroom carrying a shotgun, a handgun, and multiple knives. He ran past the magnetometer, fired at least one shot, and was chased down, tackled, and taken into custody by Secret Service and D.C. Metro Police.
American president was rushed to safety after a man armed with guns and knives attempted to enter the White House Correspondents' Dinner at the Washington Hilton Hotel. Mr. Trump was unhurt, but a Secret Service agent was hit. Police say his life was saved by his bulletproof vest. Some of the most prominent American political figures were also in attendance at the event, along with hundreds of journalists and diplomats.
One Secret Service uniformed division officer was shot in his bulletproof vest from close range with what CNN's Wolf Blitzer, who was standing just feet away, described as a very serious weapon fired at least 6 times. The vest did its job. The officer was taken to the hospital and is expected to fully recover.
And I think I heard at least 3, maybe 6 gunshots, boom, 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 boom. And it was just enormously loud. I had no idea what was going on. And for, initially, when the cop pushed me down, I said to myself, I wonder if, I was a target or whatever. And thank God I wasn't, because I was not shot.
No one inside the ballroom was struck. Trump and Melania were rushed off the stage by Secret Service. J.D. Vance was also evacuated. The scene inside the ballroom was described by multiple journalists as chaos. Officers in tactical gear jumping over tables. People diving under their seats, shouting on the floor. Trump spoke to reporters at the White House afterward. He called the suspect a lone wolf whack job and a sick person.
My impression is he was a lone wolf, whack job. These are crazy people. These are crazy people, and they have to be dealt with. We had that in the second attempt, as you know, and he's spending life in prison.
He confirmed the officer who was shot was in great shape.
One officer was shot, but saved by the fact that he was wearing obviously a very good bulletproof vest. He was shot from very close distance with a very powerful gun, and the vest did the job. I just spoke to the officer, and he's doing great. He's in great shape.
He said he fought to stay at the event, but Secret Service insisted on protocol. He referenced the Butler, Pennsylvania rally shooting from 2024 and the Palm Beach incident, saying this was now his 3rd time being targeted.
So as you know, this is not the first time in the past couple of years that our republic has been attacked by a would-be assassin who sought to kill. In Butler, Pennsylvania, less than 2 years ago, you all know that story. And in Palm Beach, Florida, a few months after that, we came close. We really had, again, we had some great work done by law enforcement.
He promised the event would be rescheduled within 30 days and made bigger and better. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche told NBC News that investigators believe Allen was specifically targeting Trump administration officials, likely including the president himself, and that he traveled to Washington by train from Los Angeles.
This investigation is ongoing. I expect you will see charges filed shortly. The charges should be self-evident given the conduct, but as you'll hear, there will be multiple charges surrounding the shooting, around the possession of firearms, and anything else that we can get on this guy.
U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro announced Allen would be arraigned Monday, April 27th, on charges of using a firearm during a crime of violence and assault on a federal officer using a dangerous weapon. She also did not rule out terrorism charges, saying, "If there's anything like that, we will find it and we will file it."
The defendant will be arraigned on Monday in federal district court, but make no mistake, there will be many more charges based upon the information that we are learning in this very fluid situation.
The suspect has been identified as Cole Thomas Allen, 31 years old, from Torrance, California, a coastal city in the South Bay area near Los Angeles. He was staying at the Washington Hilton at the time of the incident, which is how law enforcement believes he accessed the building. FBI agents in tactical gear and armored vehicles descended on his residence on Gramercy Avenue in Torrance overnight and made entry just before midnight. Federal campaign finance records show Allen donated $25 to a Democratic PC supporting Kamala Harris in 2024. He is registered as no party preference, no manifesto, no motive statement, and no social media posts with specific threats have been publicly released as of this morning.
The suspected shooter has been identified as a man from Torrance.
Surveillance video shows him sprinting through the lobby of the Washington Hilton, moving past Secret Service agents who drew their guns to take him down.
This morning, the investigation stretches to Southern California as law enforcement agents try to put those pieces together.
Now here is where this story goes from a breaking news event into something that has the internet running. Cole Thomas Allen is not some random guy with a gun. His LinkedIn profile, which has been screenshotted, verified by multiple news outlets, and confirmed in part by both Caltech and Cal State Dominguez Hills, tells a completely different story. Allen earned a Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering from the California Institute of Technology, Caltech, one of the most elite universities in the world, graduating in 2017. He was on the Blitzkrieg Bots robotics team that won a competition in 2016. He earned a master's degree in computer science from Cal State Dominguez Hills in 2025.
He's 31 years old, from Southern California, Torrance, which is just south of Los Angeles. We do know that he is a 2017 graduate of Caltech, the California Institute of Technology, which is a prestigious private research university in California, and worked a brief time as a video game developer and also a part-time teacher.
And in the summer of 2014, he held a summer undergraduate research fellowship at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. His work at JPL involved adding modeling capability for planets around previously excluded stars, updating chemical reaction data, and identifying discrepancies between model versions. He also designed 3D printed wearable cases for medical control systems. He was named Teacher of the Month at C2 Education in Torrance in December 2024. He released an indie game on Steam called Boredom, based on molecular chemistry, and was reportedly developing a top-down space shooter at the time of his arrest.
Cole Thomas Allen, the alleged shooter at the White House Correspondents Dinner, has a very interesting LinkedIn profile that's just surfaced on X. I've taken that profile and I've done a little bit of a digging around, because there was some key words in that just triggered, for me, some curiosity. One was that his connection with JPL. So he's graduated from Caltech with an engineering degree in 2017. He earned a master's in computer science in 2025, but in the summer of 2014, he held a summer undergraduate research fellowship at NASA's JPL. His work involved adding modelling capability for planets around previously excluded stars, updating chemical reaction data, and identifying discrepancies between model versions. He also interned at mechanical engineering and designing 3D printed wearable cases for medical control systems. He was named Teacher of the Month in the LA County. He released an indie game called Bodrum on Steam, and his voter registration lists no party preference.
Now here is what people on social media and independent researchers are connecting. And we are presenting this as a pattern worth noting, not a conclusion. Cole Allen's 2014 fellowship at JPL places him inside that laboratory during a period when at least 2 of the scientists currently on the FBI's dead and missing scientists list were actively working there. Frank Mywald had been at JPL since 1999, specializing in instruments capable of detecting biochemical signatures on other worlds. He died on July 4, 2024 at age 61. No cause of death was ever made public. No autopsy results were released. NASA and JPL issued no public statement. Michael David Hicks was a JPL research scientist for 24 years, specializing in comets and asteroids and working on NASA's DART asteroid deflection mission. He died on July 30, 2023, at age 59. His cause of death was also never made public. These are 2 of the 15 scientists the FBI is currently investigating as part of a pattern of deaths and disappearances connected to aerospace, nuclear, and classified defense programs. The House Oversight Committee had set a deadline of April 27th, tomorrow, for the FBI, Department of Energy, and NASA to provide briefings on those cases. And the day before that deadline, the man who tried to storm a room containing the President of the United States, the Vice President, and the entire cabinet turns out to be a former NASA JPL fellow with a research background that sits directly adjacent to the work of 2 of the dead scientists on that very list.
So this is where it becomes notable in his profile. Allen's 2014 JPL fellowship places him inside the laboratory during a period where at least 2 of the scientists that are currently missing scientists investigation were actively working there. Frank Mywald, JPL scientist, is one of them, had been at the laboratory since 1999, and he specialised in instruments capable of detecting biochemical signatures on other worlds. He died on the 4th of July 2024 at 61, no cause of death, and no autopsy was ever performed, and NASA and JPL didn't release any public statements on that. Michael David Hicks, also a research scientist at JPL for 24 years, specialised in the physical properties of comets and asteroids. He worked on NASA's DART asteroid deflection mission. He died on the 30th of July 2023. He was age 59, and his cause of death was also never made public. But Allen's internship work on planetary modelling and chemical reaction data sits adjacent to the biosignature detection and planetary categorization research that defines the careers of Mywald and Hicks. So the FBI and House Oversight Committee are currently investigating those deaths and disappearances of those 11 scientists and counting, tied to the aerospace, nuclear, and classified defense programs. There's no motive at this stage about the shooting. Of course, this is a breaking story and there's still an active investigation, and God knows what else is going to come up. But it's just a real pattern of people who seem to be involved in the research ecosystem community are having not an ordinary end of life. And why on earth would a teacher of the month change course and become a potential assassin?
Does that mean there is a connection? We do not know. There is no confirmed motive. There is no manifesto. Investigators have not publicly linked Allen to any of the dead scientists. These are facts sitting next to each other, and the proximity is what the internet is responding to. What we do know is that this is the third time Donald Trump has been the target of an assassination attempt in less than 2 years. We know the FBI's deadline for briefings on 15 dead and missing scientists was set for the day after this shooting. We know the Epstein files have still not been released in full despite repeated promises. And we know that every time one of those things gets close to the front page, something else takes over the news cycle. So, on top of people discovering Cole Allen's ties to NASA's JPL program, here are a few more interesting coincidences that people have found on social media.
This speech tonight will be classic Donald J. Trump. It'll be funny, it'll be entertaining. There will be some shots fired tonight in the room. So everyone should tune in. It's going to be really great. I'm looking forward to hearing it.
Look, I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist here, but that interview definitely did not age well. If you're not aware of what happened, there was someone that opened fire tonight at the White House Correspondents Dinner in the lobby. You can see footage here of Donald Trump being evacuated. You can see footage here of J.D. Vance being evacuated. You can see video of everyone just ducking and covering in general. I believe that the shooter has been identified as 31-year-old Cole Allen from Torrance. Now, this is very new information, so things may change. You can see a video of Erica Kirk. She was also in the building here. She is being escorted out, and she is very distressed. She's saying, "I just want to go home."
I just want to go find.
All in all, I think only one Secret Service member was shot by the gunman. He is going to be fine, but prayers up for everyone involved.
So the Trump suspect Cole Allen and Usha Vance, J.D. Vance's wife, were actually in a video in a competition together in 2017, and it was in the news. What is happening? Look at this video. You're going to see both in there. This is at this tech conference where they're trying to get funding. Just look.
College student Cole Allen developed a prototype for a wheelchair emergency brake.
And there he is.
The wheelchair brakes don't actually let the chair to the ground. The idea with this
is interesting.
A recent Aging into the Future conference held by St. Barnabas Senior Services and the Eisner Foundation
You'll see Usha
offered a test run on products that have the potential to enrich the lives of
There she is.
14 different tech startups.
Y'all see her?
Present.
How much of a coincidence is this? Is it just me, or does it seem like we're living in a clown world and they're all laughing in our faces allegedly? Or is this just one big coincidence and we should all shut up?
So, in a now deleted Instagram post, the would-be Trump assassin, the third or fourth one, I can't even count how many there have been now, Cole Allen has on an Israeli defense sweatshirt. And I double-checked it. I asked Grok, so everybody's saying this is AI bullshit. It's not. The IDF sweatshirt images are from his now deleted Instagram. And on top of that, if you search Google Trends for the shooter's name, Cole Allen, the only place it was searched a full 12 hours before the shooting was in Israel at around 7 a.m. Eastern Time. Can anyone explain this crap? Please help me.
You wouldn't think much of a random X account created in December of 2023 and also making a single post in December of 2023. What was that single post? A cryptic name. Cole Allen. Henry Martinez worked for Lockheed Martin developing the Orion spacecraft CPE. He won the Dr. George Hurls Award for Best Paper for his paper called Testing Orion's Fairing Separation System at the 42nd Aerospace Mechanisms Symposium held May 14th to the 16th in downtown Baltimore. This was not in 2026. While Martinez and Cole Allen did not work directly together, they were both at NASA at the same time, as Cole Allen was interning at NASA at 2014, while Martinez was working at the Goddard Space Flight Center. At this time, not much else is known about Henry Martinez, but take a look at what his banner reveals. Curiously enough, this banner image comes from a website called Time Machine. Almost a year later, the image would be used as a cover photo for a song uploaded by Chocolate. The song's title? 4 Chargers. Coincidentally, or not, the number of people in the photo it aligns with is 4. Henry Martinez has not surfaced again to make another post, and as far as we can tell, Cole Allen has not mentioned Henry Martinez in any of his social media posts or while teaching. You have to ask yourself, what happens next? Well, this news report provides a bit of context. It's a little freaky though, so brace yourself.
They say art imitates life, but in this case, is art a prophecy? Author Ingersoll Lockwood wrote a series of books over 100 years ago about a super rich kid named Baron Trump. One of the books is titled Baron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey. The fantasy book tells the tale of a boy named Baron Trump, who of course makes his home in Castle Trump. The narrator of the story is a guy by the name of Don. The book supposedly tells the tale of Don, the master of masters, taking young Baron through a time-traveling portal to Russia. The last pamphlet written by Lockwood is entitled The Last President, which takes place in New York City and describes the chaos America faces after the election of an unlikely candidate.
That's right, this adventure series surrounds Baron Trump, a rich kid that lives in Castle Trump and travels through time to Russia. I'm sure there's still more coincidences around this event and what's happening right now as we go through this and discover more information related to Cole Allen and Henry Martinez as well as the Trumps. But for now, this is pretty freaky. Are we dealing with time travelers, or is this just an extreme amount of coincidences that seem to be aligning to a very strange outcome?
So, the questions the internet is asking right now are not crazy questions. They are the questions you ask when the timing is this specific and the background of the suspect is this unusual. A Caltech mechanical engineer with a NASA JPL fellowship and a computer science master's degree does not fit the profile of an impulsive lone wolf. Something brought this man to that hotel with a shotgun, a handgun, and multiple knives on the exact night the entire executive branch was in one room. Another point I want to touch on is last night Trump lashed out at 60 Minutes anchor for reading Cole Allen's Manifesto. Let's just say he didn't take it too well.
The so-called manifesto is a stunning thing to read, Mr. President. He appears to reference a motive in it. He writes this, quote, administration officials, they are targets. And he also wrote this, I am no longer willing to permit a pedophile, rapist, and traitor to coat my hands with his crimes. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I was waiting for you to read that because I knew you would, because you're horrible people, horrible people. Yeah, he did write that. I'm not a rapist. I didn't rape anybody.
Do you think he was referring to you?
Excuse me. I'm not a pedophile. You read that crap from some sick person. I got associated with all stuff that has nothing to do with me. I was totally exonerated. Your friends on the other side of the plate are the ones that were involved with, let's say, Epstein or other things. But I said to myself, I'll do this interview and they'll probably, I read the manifesto, he's a sick person, but you should be ashamed of yourself reading that because I'm not any of those things.
Mr. President,
and I was never,
gunman's words.
Excuse me. You shouldn't be reading that on 60 Minutes. You're a disgrace. But go ahead, let's finish the interview.
The other thing that he wrote in
You're disgraceful.
A man tries to storm the White House. A journalist reads his manifesto. And the president's response is to attack her. That's not leadership, that's intimidation. Do you feel like this was a real attack? Do you feel like it's a staged distraction from the war and the Epstein files? Share your thoughts down below, and thanks for watching.
Want the latest news in the streets? Join us and tune in for the tea. Breaking news with integrity. So tell your friends and your family. It's the Lovelyti TV show, bringing you good tea and good vibes. It's the Lovelyti TV show. Be sure to share, like, and subscribe.